Howdy folks, this is Checkers back again with another Fallout 4 video, here today to try and build a better chase lighting effect than the one I built a few days ago. I had a video called a simple-ish light chase effect. I'll link it here if you'd like to see it, and it was a little obtuse, a little difficult. The chase was never very easy to work with, and certainly not easy to alter or move around or even keep in mind. This chase is a little easier to build, not a lot, but a little, and it should be more resilient overall, and you may even be able to tweak the timing on it somewhat. And as you can see, the lights are chasing overhead. Basically that means that a light goes on and then it goes off and the next one goes on, so it looks like the light is actually moving. And you can see on these Nixie tubes that it's a 5-step process: 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 because power is instant, 1 second delay, 2 second delay, 3 second delay, 4 second delay. Okay, now, rather than try and explain what all of that is, let's rebuild it. That way you can see it come together from scratch. So first we're going to need a generator, and we will build ourselves a lovely fusion generator. And then we are going to need a master power switch. Basically this is just going to be our on-off switch. And now we are going to need a interval switch. This is going to be essentially our counter, our timer, our heartbeat of this trick. And we are going to couple it with a delayed off switch. And finally, we are going to need something to light up, and because the Nixie tubes are also good at counting and they light, let's use a Nixie tube. And we will, just so everything is easy, let's set this Nixie tube to 1. This is our first set. So we haven't wired everything up yet. I'm just going to use these Nixie tubes as the things that we use to show how the trick works and to also show you the individual steps in it. Actually, this Nixie tube should be our 0 step. Okay, and then we are going to come back into our settlement interface and come back into switches, and we want first a delayed on switch. And we are going to couple that with a delayed off switch. And then we are going to give them their Nixie tube. And we're going to draw our line over here and got out of the settlement interface and set this to 1. And now open up our settlement interface again and come over to switches. We need another delayed on switch. And we're going to couple that with a delayed off switch and then give it a Nixie tube. And now we're going to draw a line Nixie tube to Nixie tube. We're going to break all of these later, but for now I just want to set the number value. 1, 2. Okay. Now we need another pair, and this will be again a delayed on switch coupled with a delayed off switch. And you'll notice I'm not connecting anything right now except for the Nixie tubes, and that's just to give us our number value. I will disconnect them before I reset everything. And draw a line from 2 here to 3. And finally, one last pair. Another delayed on switch coupled with another delayed off switch and another Nixie tube. And we're going to draw a line, exit the settlement interface so we can interface with the Nixie tube and set it to 4. Come back into our settlement interface, and I'm going to start breaking these wire connections. Okay, and now we need to set up the timing and control for each of these switches. So we are going to come into miscellaneous and get ourselves a terminal and slap that down. And we want power from our generator to our terminal. And so let's start at the beginning. Our first step in all of this is the interval switch. So we connect to the interval switch with the terminal, come out of the interface, settlement interface, and into the terminal. And we want interval switch control. We want to set the on time to 5 seconds because we have 5 pairs of things, 5 lights that we want to light up. So 5 steps. And we're going to set the off time for 1 second because basically that's the shortest thing we can do. Okay, now we break the connection with the interval switch. And then we are going to draw a line from our terminal to our first delayed on switch. Exit the settlement interface. So the first switch, whether it's the interval switch or delayed on switches, we need to set these individually. So this first delayed on switch, which is the first one in the second set, we're going to delay it by 1 second. And that's all we're going to do. And then we're going to go back into the settlement interface. We're going to break this connection. Whoop, not the concrete wall. We're going to store the wire in the workshop. And then we're going to draw a line from our terminal to our second delayed on switch, which is also the first switch in the third pair. Exit the settlement interface and go back into our terminal. We're going to delay this switch for 2 seconds. Then we're going to exit our terminal, go back into the settlement interface, break this wire connection, and we will grab our next delayed on switch, which is our third delayed on switch, connect it to the terminal, exit the settlement interface, enter the terminal, delay switch control. We're going to set it for 3 seconds, so it's delaying for 3 seconds. Come out of the terminal, back into the settlement interface, break the wire connection, come to our final delayed on switch. We're going to grab that and connect it up to our terminal, exit the settlement interface. This is now our fourth delayed on switch. And we are going to go into delay switch control, and you guessed it, tell it to delay for 4 seconds. Now we have to set these all individually because if we tried to do it all together, the terminal doesn't distinguish between one delay switch and another, which is actually what we're going to use to our advantage right now. We're going to grab each delayed off switch. So the second half of each pair is a delayed off switch. We're going to grab all of those and hook them up to our terminal. Oh, something's blocking this one. So I need to move the terminal a little bit. Let's scoot it maybe a little forward and see if we can reach it now. So 2 more. 1 and 2. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 delayed off switches all connected to this terminal. I'm going to use the terminal now, delay switch control, and we're going to tell each of these to delay for 1 second. So all the ons, except for the initial one, which is the interval switch, will delay by 1. All the are delay 1 from each other. So this is our 0. Oh, I never did break that first connection there. And so this one is, when the power goes on, this one goes on, so that's 0. This one will delay for 1 second, this one will delay for 2 seconds, this one will delay for 3 seconds, this one will delay for 4 seconds, and each one of these off switches in the back will delay for 1 second. So power will run for 1 second. Now we're going to exit the settlement interface. Oh, sorry, 1 step too early. We are going to store our terminal, And now we're going to start connecting things. So we're going to run from our generator to our main power switch. I'm going to actually cut the power on the main switch just so it's not running all constantly. Go back into the settlement interface. Now we're going to run power from the main switch to the interval switch, from the interval switch to this delayed off switch, and from this delayed off switch to our Nixie tube. Everything else, all the other delayed on switches, come from this interval switch. So here is our 1 second delayed on switch. We're going to carry another line to our, oh, I think we're going to have to move it just a little bit so that the wire will reach it without being blocked. So interval switch to our 2 second delayed on switch, and then see if our interval switch will reach all the way down here, and it will, to our 3 second delayed on switch. And then we may need to boost this one. This might just be a little too long. Okay, so I'm going to store that. I'm going to have to build another pylon in here just to carry the wire that far. So I apologize. I didn't want to have it be extra confusing. Well, let's make it something completely different so we all know that it's not the same thing. So I'm going to put a power conduit on the ground from the interval switch. Just as a jumper, I'm going to use this conduit, and from this conduit to our 4 second delayed on switch. Now, from each of these, we are going to take a line from our delayed on switch to our delayed off switch, our delayed off switch to our Nixie tube, delayed on switch to our delayed off switch, delayed off switch to our Nixie tube, delayed on switch to our delayed off switch, delayed off switch to our Nixie tube, and delayed on switch to our delayed off switch, delayed off switch to our Nixie tube. And in theory, when we throw the switch, we should have a simple chase of 0 through 5 on our Nixie tubes. Here goes nothing. 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it doesn't matter if you use light boxes or any light that actually needs a connection, any powered thing that needs a connection, you can use this trick with. And if you wanted these to say come on, like in the movie sequence video, all you need to do is not have the delayed off switch. Just make it only the delayed on switch. So you would basically just remove the back switch out of all of this, and then as 0 came on, it would stay on. As 1 came on, it would stay on. As 2 came on, it would stay on. 3 came on, it would stay on. 4 came on, it would stay on. Alrighty, folks. This has been Checkers with another look at how to build a lighting chase in Fallout 4. I hope that this was a little more clear, a little more easy to understand, and hopefully more implementable to you at home. And I would like to remind you that I have a Twitter link in the description of the video and on my channel main page. If you're on mobile, it'll be on my channel about page. Also, if you look in the upper right hand corner, you will see a small letter I with a white circle around it. These are cards and links to other videos that I've made. In this case, they'll link to the other chase video, probably the movie sequence lighting video, and of course the playlist that has all of the power and control together if you want to look at any of the individual videos. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope you found the video informative and maybe just a little entertaining. I would like to invite you to subscribe, like, and share if you so desire, and ask you to please take care.